Hello, friends. Welcome to the Career Guru podcast. I am your host, Steve Yanofsky. What a glorious day it is to start your path in a new career. Doors are opening here at the Boston Career Institute even as we speak. And I'm here holding the key for you. So tune in, stay sharp, and enjoy yourself. This is going to be great. Hashtag Let's Career Up. Hello and greetings, everyone, to the welcome to the 8th installment of the Career Guru podcast. I am your all-knowing, all-sensing, all-feeling, and yet very humble career guru, reaching out to you across the cyberspace to talk about all things career. Today, it is my extreme pleasure to introduce my guests today who are going to discuss with us something that I mentioned to you quietly during our last podcast is how to find money for education. Well, this is one of those things that we can do. And so today, once again, it is my pleasure to introduce Zoie Jaklitsch and Greg Bunn of MassHire. Hi, Zoie. Hi, Greg. Please say a few words. Introduce yourself to the career guru land out there.
I'm Zoie Jaklitsch. I am the MassHire Metro Southwest Career Center Director.
Hi, everyone. I'm Greg Bunn. I'm the Executive Director of the MassHire Metro Southwest Workforce Board.
Welcome to the Career Guru podcast. So, Zoie, if I may, would you mind explaining to our audience what MassHire is? I know MassHire is this wonderful organization that envisions a better future for the employees, if I remember correctly, and we have about 25 centers across Massachusetts. So with that being said, would you expound a little bit on what MassHire is, what it does, and maybe Greg, you can chime in too and let us know what this is all about.
The MassHire is the statewide career center system in which we assist our customers with returning to the workforce. So we assist them in many ways with gaining reemployment, whether it's through finding them, matching them with employers that are looking for their skill sets, or we may assist them in going to training to build up on their skill set so that they can return to the workforce. So the goal is we work with our customers to get them reemployed as quickly as possible. We work with customers that have some requirements for unemployment, but we also work with customers who are income eligible, which means that they are not at a self-sustaining income, and we try to support and help them gain that.
Great. So what kind of services are actually available to people who meet this criteria? And could you tell us a little bit more about this criteria that people may get qualifications to get assistance for education or reemployment?
So we work with anybody really that wants to come into the Career Center is eligible to work with us in one way or another. We have basic services, so we have workshops that we present. We have resource room area that customers can utilize. We have access to reach out to and connect with unemployment services, and we have one-on-one career advising services and veteran representative services. So we have a variety of ways that customers can connect with us to help them, whether they are trying to build up on their interviewing skills, they need support in building their resume and developing their resume, or they're not even sure where to start as far as their job search. So we work with customers in a variety of ways. We have what we call enrolled services for customers who could be eligible because they are currently collecting unemployment, or they could be eligible based on income need, which means if they're working with DTA or collecting SNAP benefits, they could be income eligible in that way. But there are other ways that we could potentially make them income eligible to receive WIOA funding, which is our Career Advised Training Fund services.
Fantastic. So we have these 25 centers across Massachusetts where people can actually go in physically and speak to advisors and be able to receive these benefits of learning how to interview properly and put together a resume, regardless of their income eligibility. And then those folks who do require a little extra assistance, who may be receiving some benefits, whether it's unemployment or SNAP, like you mentioned, right? So any of those people may qualify for funding for education. Am I correct?
Yes, you are correct. And currently, our training cap is we pay for up to $10,000. We can cover up to $10,000 at this time in training, which we pay directly to the training vendors. The vendors do have to be on the state approved list, which they can access through our JobQuest system and find training vendors. They do have to be on the state approved list in order for us to send them to that training vendor. But we also provide support services for anybody who's going to training, which in addition to the $10,000 that they may be able to receive that goes to the training vendor, not the customer, we can assist them with things such as paying for books that they may need, supplies that they would need for their course, travel reimbursement to and from a course, and many other options that we, if they have, that is part of their success in that program.
Is a child care assistant one of those things that may be a possibility?
We do not directly provide child care support. However, we can connect them with DTA that could potentially assist them with a child care voucher if that's a need that they have.
Amazing. That's wonderful. $10,000 for education or career education is a fair bit of money. You can get a lot of traction out of that. I know you work with BCI, Boston Career Institute, and our programs are well below this particular threshold. It's been a wonderful relationship, I must say, and we've had some great success stories that go along with our partnership, of which I'm particularly proud of, and looking forward to long-term commitment to our mutual clients. You said you also work with veterans. Can you tell me a little bit more about that?
Yeah, so we have we work with all veterans, and veterans get a priority of service when they come to the Career Center, which means they get kind of that first serve basis. If there is a program that is full, we would ensure that we made room for veterans. But we also work with veterans that have a significant barrier to their reemployment, and they would work with one of our veteran representatives to help them address that barrier. So it might be homelessness, it might be disability related to their service. If they are really struggling with that, getting back to reemployment, we have some additional support that we can provide to them through the veteran representative.
Is there any restrictions? Are there any restrictions for the veteran status? Meaning, is it the recent conflict? Did they have to be active duty deployment? How can you expound on that a little bit, if possible?
They have to have a significant barrier to employment, and that is something that would be worked out with the veteran representative. However, if they could not work directly with the vet rep because they didn't meet that significant barrier, they would still be eligible for our other services and would work with us with a career advisor. That they get priority of service. So
wonderful, Greg. Is there anything you wanted to add to this particular conversation?
So Zoe did a great job explaining all the benefits that are available. The one thing I can just encourage any of your listeners is to take advantage of these. Like you said, Steve, $10,000 is a lot of money that can go for for training. Some examples of some successful programs that we've run in people who are interested in possibly logistics and transportation. We ran a very successful CDL A and B truck driver program with partners that we paid the tuition portion of that, and even help with job placement to some degree. That's always been successful. We see a lot of CNA programs, people who are interested in certified nursing assistants. One of the big areas that's actually blowing up in the life science industry is pharmaceutical manufacturing. So there's several programs out there that we can help customers take advantage of to become production technicians, actually making the drugs themselves. I know Zoe and her team has done a lot of work working with all the manufacturers in the Metro Southwest region. There really is a huge demand right now, and this is a perfect time if you're thinking of getting back in the workforce or changing a career. Really, the workforce has so many opportunities for people to take advantage of. We just need to try to encourage as many folks as we can to actually take advantage of the funding that's out there.
Well, that's just awesome. So let me get this right. Now, I know, for example, BCI is a healthcare training institute. We specialize mostly in medical assisting, dental assisting, hospital central service, medical admin folks. But you just mentioned that you paid for CDL. I'm talking about commercial driver's license. So a truck driver, you can become trained as. That's amazing. These are actually excellent, very very high paying jobs for people who are interested. Is there an age limit on this, or that you may have come across, or is this something that's, if you're able to drive, you can get into that?
There's a lower limit of 18 years old, but there's no upper limit as long as you have all your faculties and you're able to drive a vehicle and you can pass the tests. We can help you fund that training.
Fantastic. I mean, that is amazing. That is great. And you said pharmaceutical manufacturing also,
Mhm.
and you're saying that
Yes.
there's a. Yeah, I haven't looked into that myself, so forgive my naivete here. But this is very interesting. I know we have a lot of biotech here in Massachusetts, and this would be the folks that would actually be interested in this particular venue. How amazing! So you facilitate and you work with them directly, with the manufacturers directly, or are there schools that do that too?
So sort of both. So one entity that we work with is the Mass BioEd Foundation, and they've developed a really interesting apprentice training program where they go out and work with several pharmaceutical manufacturers, like your Modernas, your Sanofis, your Takedas, and then help develop an apprentice program, which is basically 2,000 hours of on-the-job training combined with classroom training, which lasts roughly about 150 hours, which I think is being done through Northeastern. But what they will then take the candidate who is interested in becoming an apprentice, do some screening, figure out if they're a right fit, and then connect them with the employer, and then plug them into an apprentice program. The nice thing about an apprentice program is those individuals can make money right away. They have a job, they have an income, and they're learning a skill, and they'll get a credential as a journeyman production technician when they finish up.
This is amazing.
And that
Now,
program, oh, sorry.
no, no, please, Greg, continue.
And right now, that program that is grant funded, so participants wouldn't at this point don't have to pay a dime for that.
Amazing. May I ask you to repeat what was the name of the foundation? Because I think we had a little glitch. I couldn't quite make out the name of the foundation that you were talking about.
Sure. The Mass BioEd
Uh-huh.
Foundation.
Excellent. I just want people to be able to hear it clearly and be able to take advantage of this. Even though Career Guru Podcast is sponsored by the Boston Career Institute, and this is not necessarily the naked self promotion that it may sound be, but we really want people to reach out. That's why, for example, a lot of the folks which may not be interested in our healthcare programs certainly could benefit from the CDL training and pharmaceutical manufacturing angle, which is, to be honest with you, pardon my ignorance, this is the first time I hear of this, and I will explore this further, and would love to speak to you some more in detail, which is really piquing my interest about this, and I hope other people listening will pay attention to this and pay heed to this information and be able to reach out to you guys in this. I will, of course, post the information to MassHire to within the Career Guru podcast, so people can reach out to various centers and find out where they are. So we're going to have all of that information available for podcast. Allow people to benefit from this, because this is really great stuff. I find this absolutely magnificent with the work that you do, and I know from personal experience how closely your career counselors work with your clients and fight for every success. I know Zoe and I worked back and forth on one client recently, which we got past the finish line, and much to the elation of everyone that this actually happened. And this is just one example of how things work. So I am humbled by the work that you folks do in MassHire, and helping every student, every client that you have coming your way. You definitely living up to the mission statement. So, how can people in general, what would be the best way for them to find MassHire centers? Probably online would be a good place to go. What would be the best place? And we can give them a phone number if there's a phone number, and a MassHire website.
If they go to the mass.gov website, they can locate the career center that would be the closest to them. Because one of the things that customers want to do is go to the Career Center, which is in their service delivery area, as we each have different caps for the amount of training that we can support. And we all have grants that may be different from one another. So we may have additional grants that another center does not have, and vice versa. So they really want to go, if they go to the mass.gov site, they can find their local career center, and they should also register on JobQuest through, they can do that through mass.gov as well.
And we'll certainly post links to that as well after the podcast has been released. So we'll definitely make this all accessible to people. Now, we are located in Massachusetts, and the name does suggest that MassHire is a Massachusetts-based organization. What do you think is the biggest career field in Massachusetts for most people trying to seek reemployment? Which sector, in your experience working with different schools and different organizations, would the healthcare sector be considered the biggest, or is there something else that's more advantageous for folks?
For our region, healthcare and IT are probably the biggest in our area.
Healthcare and IT. Now, may I ask you, which programs do you sponsor in IT? Do you have organizations that you work with for IT?
We work with training providers that are on the approved state list. So we work with several providers, and we have done everything from CompTIA all the way up to high-end networking courses. It really depends on the customer's need, where they're at, and what the training is that's going to get them back to the workforce. We often have customers in the IT field that may have worked for a company for a very long time, and then unfortunately are laid off from that company. And in order for them to have the most up-to-date skills, they need to return and get some additional training.
Excellent. Greg, anything else you want to mention?
Yeah, I believe Zoe hit on the major one. So healthcare is our biggest industry sector just because it encompasses so many jobs that are in demand, both at an advanced level in terms of registered nurses and at an entry level for certified nursing assistants. Demand for those occupations are really high. The professional, scientific, and technical service sector encompasses a lot of the IT occupations that Zoe spoke of. And then really our next biggest industry is manufacturing. And we have so many manufacturers in our region, from, like I said before, pharmaceutical manufacturing, a lot of medical device manufacturing. It's really one of the big industries that support our region. And then that's really rounded out by retail and educational services. But those are really the big 5 industries that support our Metro Southwest region.
Excellent, excellent. And I know that we're reaching the people. I know that hundreds, and in some cases, sometimes even thousands of people listening to this podcast are actually influenced by what we're saying here. Yes, Massachusetts is the mecca of healthcare, if I may use this analogy. And to find a job today in healthcare is not a very difficult prospect, providing you have the right skills and the right certifications. The doors are open and the salaries are on the rise in this particular sector. And with the kind of help that you are offering through MassHire to receive this organization, certainly new careers are basically there waiting for you, and your success is almost assured if this is what you're looking to accomplish. So a few more words of wisdom that we may say in parting to our listeners.
I would just say, the best thing for you to do is reach out to your local career center and find out how they can support you, what programs they have, what grants we have, what options that we can to support you to return to the workforce. Our services are free. There's no charge for any of the services at the career centers. We work with employers as well, so we have great connections with employers. If you're looking to get back into the workforce, we can help you connecting with those that are looking to hire.
And one thing I would offer is really don't wait, because in previous months we've been talking about how much of a labor shortage there is in Massachusetts. So job seekers may feel that time is on their side and they can pick and choose, and they can. But now in the most recent month, we're seeing a huge drop off in job postings and the number of job openings, both locally and nationwide. So I think what we're beginning to see is a bit of a tightening of that labor market now. So my recommendation would be to take advantage of these opportunities now while they're still available.
Absolutely. I concur wholeheartedly. You got to strike iron while it's hot. And there's no day like today to get things going. I mean, the best way to plant a tree of career growth is 10 years ago. But what's the next best day is today. And if not today, then tomorrow. But I wouldn't wait till tomorrow. There's really no reason to do that. And while I see as well like you, I do see a tightening in the job market. But one thing that I must say to people who are listening to this podcast, I must say that one of the most amazing career growth paths today is in dentistry. And dental assisting is a huge, wide open market. For those of you considering a great new career, dental assisting is great. Job opportunities are plentiful, bountiful. I know that we work with MassHire. BCI works with MassHire with this program as well, and the success rates are just through the roof. And folks, I can tell you with certainty that if you are a normal, functioning, breathing human with a state license in dental assisting, you will be working if this is what you want. So I do highly recommend this particular profession along with everything else that we have and all the other programs that Greg and Zoe just mentioned. I will explore more what you talked about earlier. I really do want to talk to you more about the apprentice programs that you have to offer, and maybe this is going to be a topic for for another conversation to explore more about apprentice programs. Our programs in BCI are hybrid programs with apprenticeship built in. We have our internship programs where people go and do their internships, but an apprentice program, a full apprentice program, many people don't appreciate or understand that much of the education in the days past was apprentice-based education. It's not necessary to go to college at the time in order to get great job with great skills and great pay. Even though it's good, you got your high school diploma or GED or high set, you have great set of skills, you will be able to work and you will be a valued employee. Certainly, if you're able to drive a truck today, it is a job that's in very high demand. I really encourage people, even though this is not one of those things that we teach in BCI, I still want to encourage people within the sound of or in the reach of my voice to take advantage of these programs. Reach out to MassHire, reach out to the training centers. If you call us in BCI, we will direct you to MassHire too. So if you can't find your way on your own, our career counselors are here too, and they will direct people to MassHire. So we do work hand in hand, and we want to help as many people as possible. And again, a little bit of advice. The best time to start your career path, if it wasn't done 10 years ago, start it today. If not, make sure you do it after the long weekend for sure. So I think we've touched upon all the questions that I wanted to touch upon. Is there anything else you wish to add to this? And I think we're good to go, and we can consider talking again in the future if you so desire.
Thank you, Steve. We really appreciate BCI's partnership.
Thank you so much, and likewise, we do too. And it's my pleasure to, well, first of all, meet you in this format in person. I really look forward to working with you, and I really hope that people really pay attention to what has been said here so far. Well, that's it then. With all the blessings for everybody, wishing everyone a great day, great weekend. It's a Columbus Day weekend or Indigenous Peoples weekend, however you want to look at it, whatever works for you. It's a long weekend. Make it count. Hopefully we have some good weather here in the Northeast, and we're going to be spared what the Florida was hit with. And the Career Guru wishes everyone all the very best. Thank you very much, Zoe. Thank you very much, Greg. And I look forward to working with you in the future.
Thank you. We do as well.
Thank you so much. Well, friends and aspiring career gurus, this was fun. Thank you for tuning in. I feel enlightened, I feel empowered, and I hope you do too. And I'm feeling grateful that we spent time together. For more information about Boston Career Institute, please visit our website at www.bostoncareer.org. Boston Career Institute has 3 campuses in Brookline, Malden, and Lowell, Massachusetts. You can call our toll-free number at 888-383-6058. For questions, comments, and/or other information about our podcast, email bcipodcast@bostoncareer.org. The Career Guru podcast is available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Anchor FM, iHeartRadio, TuneIn Radio, Podbay FM, and of course YouTube, or wherever you stream your podcasts. I'm looking forward to seeing you all soon. All the best to you. My name is Steve Yanofsky. I am the Career Guru. May God bless you. #, Let's Career Up.